Hey everybody, I'm getting more and more messages about entities bothering people, dark forces, evil spirits, all these things that are happening, and they're really not sure what it is. I mean, you guys should really look at my video about haunted, possessed, and programmed, so keep more of a better understanding of these kind of phenomenon. But there's something else in there. Now, that's just on that other video is about the metaphysical side, but there's also another side that we have to look at. You know, you can call it conspiracy theories and all this other stuff, but there is that technological aspect that's being projected out there to people that makes them think in the old way of thinking about these negative effects. And here, like I said so many times, this is an awesome time to be in shamanism because science and shamanism is like this. In the good aspect, the scientists are acknowledging what shamans have been saying for millennium, because they can prove it with their little instruments and other scientific tools. But at the same time, there's that other aspect, the dark forces that don't like humanity the way it is, doesn't want to see humanity evolve into this really awesome being and give the resources and finances towards making humanity an awesome species and having paradise on earth. I've been saying for a long time that I think that these other human forces, that we can call them dark forces, have learned to digitalize thought. Now, I remember a while ago, years ago, when they were starting to digitalize music, everybody thought, oh, it's impossible, that's blah, blah. Yeah, well, it's been around for a while now. And Gwen towers, are a lot more destructive than like cell phone towers. Look them up. I'm not going to get into that. But at the same time, as I'm watching the acceleration against humanity from the spiritual forces, from the metaphysical forces, and from the technological forces, yeah, I'm changing my attitude about how I present the information. I'm just really going to get away from just trying to cater to people and help them out of this scared childhood phase and just give you some real perspectives about things. If you can't handle that, then go see your new age shaman and hug a crystal and rainbow or something. I don't know where to go with this anymore, people. So let me clear up something. There are the metaphysical aspects of the dark forces rising up in combination with the dark force mentality on the human side of the people that I want to call our puppeteers and handlers. I'm not going to call them elites. And there's, again, going back into these ceremonies that people say that, oh, they've heard that these people do these blood ceremonies and blah, blah, blah. And they do, because that kind of magic works. And instead of people bitching and whining about how these powerful, rich people are doing these things, affecting the humanity and the earth in negative ways, if the people don't do anything to stop it, and all they do is complain about it, or bring down the white light and wait for Jesus, it's just going to continue. All right, and that's just a simple fact until it reaches critical mass and blows up, falls apart, and civilization crumbles, and that's happened throughout history, mainly because the people and their apathy and inaction, allowed it or even encouraged it, by implied consent. For you, again, watch the other video, Haunted, Possessed, or Programmed, and learn that part of recognizing and understanding the separations of these energies. If you still want to talk to me on something, you can email me at shamaniclodge@gmail.com and set up an appointment with me and follow my instructions. So many times people will tell me these things and I'll listen to it and I'll prescribe a series of things for them to do. And usually the first one is clean yourself up a little bit, meaning that get rid of the addictions, the vices, get some exercise, treat your body like a temple, stop being cheap bait for any negative energy or life force consciousness to come in and just a snack. You have different levels of these darker forces, and they're Some of them are vultures, some of them are possums and eat anything that's laying around. And some of them are like, the hawks is the only raptor that will only eat a fresh kill. Other stuff will eat roadkill and everything else. So it goes after the very prime target. And those are the ones, if you want to make an agreement with, make an ally, cut a deal with, because sometimes, as much as you want to call it, people learn to hunt with the raptors. So you still look at things, and sometimes that siding with that kind of a negative energy can do a community service by helping to eliminate a negative energy signature or consciousness, spirit, whatever, out of a neighborhood, out of a project. Okay? So it's teamwork. You might not like what they are, what they do, and whatever, but they can be an asset, and sometimes you can work together. And you guys stay on your side, and we'll stay over on our side. Shamanism is like military mentality. And I tell this to my apprentices all the time. And that means it's somewhat combative. If I give you the instructions to help you get rid of these negative forces, or at least the influences out of your life, and you don't do them, that's not my problem, people. Right now, these things are escalating at just a phenomenal rate like I have never seen in my life. I never thought I would see this kind of a thing. And of course, the Christians are like, well, it's end days, Hawk, Jesus coming back and revelate. Okay, fine, stop. And the other part about it, people, and I've run this by people, and they're like, no way. I've said for years, do you think that these puppeteers and handlers and dark forces are using the Bible as a playbook? Meaning that they read it and go, oh, this is the next thing that's supposed to be coming up. So let's go ahead and do something that's like this. And people will just return, say, see, it's right there in the Bible, this thing. And people will say, well, Hawk, why would they do that? Because the mentality around that is suffer and wait to be saved. So I really do think these dark forces are using the Bible as a playbook. Just forget people to just do nothing but pray and wait to be saved during the rapture or whatever, and then eventually live in paradise and blah, blah. If we want to look at God as the ultimate father, wouldn't it be nice for him to see his children actually grow up and act like adults and try and manifest their own destiny? Just a thought, people. Okay? Yeah, I don't know if there's a divine plan or what it is, but I do know there's a big rise on these dark forces, a big rise on the negative effects on people and their lives and friends and families, on society in general. A lot of these dark forces are working through our selected officials. And I say selected officials because I don't really believe in the election system much anymore. You got to be part of the club to hold a public office. If not, unless, by the way, just look at 4 LA police officers killed themselves within a 24-hour period. Yeah, there could be some dark forces behind that, metaphysically, spiritually, or technically, chemically, a lot of things working in together. It's this conglomerate of evil that's really got a good team plan going, and they've got a really focused mentality. They're consistent and disciplined upon achieving their goals. And meanwhile, the people are just wandering around, polluting themselves, and just bitching and whining how bad things are, but they don't want to do anything about it. What can the average everyday person do? A lot. You'd be surprised what one person can do when they're really aligned, with their truth. Getting people to the truth, that's the real trick. But a lot of the stuff, simple ceremonies that I give people to help them in that alignment, and they say, wow, my life just instantly started to change over these little practices you gave me to do. Well, yeah. It really is. All this stuff that I talk about, or all these things that we look at metaphysically, they're easy fixes. There really is. And I just need a handful of people who are willing to do whatever they need to do to get the things done. You know, you need those in rescue. This is a rescue operation called a spiritual rescue operation. You need those people who are like, have the attitude, put me in, I'm ready to play. I'll do whatever I need to do to make things a better world. Awesome. I'll give you the things to do. But when you're on that plan, you have to do all that plan. You just can't stop and go, well, I don't know if I really want to do these things. Okay, fine. Next. Because that's how it happens in a militaristic situation. That's how it has if you're on a sports team. You have to be able to play all the positions. And if we just have a few people and a few small teams strategically placed, and the flow, the shamanic flow, will help these things happen. Nature will help this happen. Because nature wants us to evolve into these really enlightened beings. The nature consciousness wants these darker forces to be put down, you know, used for the... It's like fertilizer. Okay, you can use these negative energies for fertilizer, basically, just by mutating them a little bit. That's another video. But if I had just a couple small teams, I could make big changes. And I've done this for other projects. I just need more of these teams that will actually stay with it for the duration. And then what happens with these, I get these people trained in these that are good at combating these dark forces. But then they hit the wall. And they just don't want to take it to the next step. And then they wonder why they get overwhelmed. Well, because you didn't upgrade. You didn't just keep going. And that's what happens. Again, the people who are creating all these misery on Earth are that tiny bit of the Earth's population. But they are very consistent and focused and disciplined in achieving their goals. If we just had a tiny percentage of the population who are just as focused as they are, but we have nature on our side, we can squash their plan. Yeah, they'll step it up, get a little bit more aggressive for a little while, but then eventually they get swamped. And it won't take that long. We can turn all this around and make a huge impact against their plan just within a few months. By spring 2024, oh yeah, most of our problems will be done. You know, and they won't stand a chance. And then when people see that it's actually working, more people will jump onto that effort. And we could really have paradise on Earth, people. I promise you that. We have the technology, we have the finances, we have the resources. We just don't have the will as a mass to push back on these dark forces. So until then, these what you call the nasty entities, the nasty spirits, the nasty consciousness, nasty life signatures, and they're all different beings. They're just not one individual thing, and people don't understand that part either. So the frequency you're using on this one doesn't necessarily work on this one. And again, with all these new age shamans and all these other flakes out there that are putting out this misinformation, it leads people down that dark road, and then they wonder why their stuff that they were given doesn't work. It can't. All right, the stuff that they gave you to work on, hug your crystal and spread a salt circle and bring down that's nice. You just told these other entities where the food is basically all you did. It's a complex realm, no different than, back when they were learning about bacterium, germs, and then when they realized, like, oh, wow, different blood types, wow, that was a whole new frontier. But just the acknowledgement of that new information changed medicine hugely and saved a lot more lives. But you have to know the information, and people don't want to do that. They just don't want to take that extra effort to be in control of their own life and manifest destiny. They'd rather just sit by and do nothing, let the dark forces come in and be the chosen destiny for them. If you're interested in getting into this kind of work, if you're interested in, and you don't even have to do a full apprenticeship, you know, you can be a shamanic practitioner, but be a real one and know what you're talking about. I can help you do that. I would love to see more good shamans out there. I'd love to see more good shamanic practitioners out there. You know, and you can just have these skills, the skill sets that you want. That maybe this is your thing, fighting off the bad forces, and that's all you want to do. Cool. I wish we had more of those people out there too. Anyways, like I said, you can get me at shamaniclodge@gmail.com. Be to the point. Don't send me a book. All right. I mean that in the most respectful way, because I do get a lot of emails. I try to get back to everybody. But when somebody sends me a few pages, I'm not reading all of it. Okay, I'm just going to the next one. The best way to tell me these things is just write it out like bullet points. And that'll give me enough information to ask you questions on a phone call. Okay? That's it. If you have any comment, by the way, if you guys make comments, you know, and say, hey, could you do a video about this subject? I'll do that. You know, you can go back into my other channel, which is Shamanic Lodge, which was all over the place. I did a lot of things, but this one I just wanted to focus really only on shamanism, and do more of question answers and things like that here. All right, guys, I'll catch you later.